Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 32, Flesh, Blood, and Bone.
Although specifically not in that order.
Not in that order. Even, not one of them's in the right order. Didn't mix up just a couple there.
Bone, flesh, and blood.
That still sounds good.
I was trying to figure out, blood, bone, and flesh.
Yeah, bone, because it goes bone, flesh, blood.
Bone, flesh, blood,
and bone. Yeah, I don't know.
So, kind of interesting to mix up the order there when it doesn't really seem to throw anything off otherwise. But this is sort of a noteworthy chapter because it is probably one of the most important chapters.
It is probably one of the most important chapters. It is a surprisingly short chapter.
I was going to say
that compared to what we've had lately.
It is in fact the shortest chapter in Goblet of Fire.
No way.
It is.
Wow.
Yep. At least by Jim Dale audiobook standards, where I was doing a quick assessment, and I think this one clocks in at just under 15 minutes. So it's like 14 minutes, 47 seconds or something. So if you listen like me at my 2x speed, this is like a 7.5 minute.
Yeah. You're just like, wow, we're done.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. As far as the chapter art is concerned, I don't know what scale we've got going on here, but we've got Peter Pettigrew looking just a scooch too tall, if you ask me.
A scooch too tall. Are we supposed to think that this is... Can you see his other hand down there, or is that like blood dripping down? Because his fingers don't look... I guess that... No, okay. He's got the missing finger down there.
Yeah, it almost looks like a rubber glove kind of hanging out the bottom there. You know, like some people can like inflate a rubber glove to make it look like a chicken or something.
Kind of what it looks like.
It sort of looks like that little guy's just sort of hanging out of the sleeve there. But otherwise he's just holding the dagger or the silver blade way high up in the air. You've got the extraordinarily large cauldron in front of him with its dazzling diamond-like glittering surface.
Yes.
Which I've always thought was just a very, it's a description of the surface of the potion that was always kind of like stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because like diamonds feels like so the opposite
of Voldemort.
It
does. Yeah.
So like the idea of that being involved at all seems strange and compelling in like an odd way. So interesting chapter art. What did you think?
I mean, I like the chapter art. Wormtail does look a little bit tall for my liking, although the cauldron they have in this chapter, I think is forever what I imagine they were working with in potions.
Okay.
Like the big giant ones.
The big giant ones, although I'm pretty sure that it specifically says that it is the largest cauldron that Harry had ever seen.
That is true.
Bigger than any he had ever worked with.
Yes. So this is clearly whatever I imagined they were making in potions for the longest time is much closer to what you see in the movies, just their tiny little cauldrons.
That's right. Yeah. But this is, I also think it's hilarious because Harry's going to describe it as a cauldron that looks big enough to fit a grown man. And I'm like, wow, that's
exactly what's going to happen.
That's what goes in there.
Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, without any further ado, you want to go ahead and dive on into this chapter?
Well, absolutely. So let's have our lovely first sentence here. We have Harry felt his feet slam to the ground. His injured leg gave way and he fell forward. His hand let go of the Triwizard Cup at last, and then the dragons arrived. So this is kind of funny because I was just rewatching this scene in the movie, or like the maze scene, and Dumbledore gathers them all around and he's like, in the maze you won't find dragons or denizens of the deep. And it's like, but in this case actually you would find dragons again.
Yeah, there you go.
You'd be like, oh, not dragons again. No. At this point, if there were dragons on the other end, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, this is the task."
That's true.
I gotcha.
And I do sort of love the suspension that you have just for a moment here, which is that like, ooh, the tournament's not over. There's like a bonus task at the end of the maze.
Yeah,
because for just this brief spell, we're gonna sort of be like under the illusion that this could just be more.
Yeah.
It's not like immediately necessarily obvious, but then it is immediately obvious. Yeah.
Yes.
After the non-immediacy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. He catches on pretty darn quick here. So they kind of stand up, they look around, says they'd left Hogwarts grounds completely. They'd obviously traveled miles, perhaps hundreds of miles, for even the mountains surrounding the castle were gone.
Yeah, so that's I guess it gives us some scope as to what portkeys are capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're still, on like the island that is like, Britain or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. But they haven't, you can go pretty far, obviously, with the portkey, which I guess we also see in Fantastic Beast: Crimes of Grindelwald when they travel to France.
They do travel to France using like the special portkey, but that one almost seemed like you had to go and find the guy on the edge of the cliff and pay him the unusual fee. And
I think because that guy is making illegal portkeys.
Well, sure. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like you'd have to go that far out.
Yeah, it does seem like an unnecessarily complicated step to get them there.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Yeah. But you're right. Yeah. So we're potentially hundreds of miles away, which definitely it adds to the sense of like isolation. Like they're not going to be found.
Yeah, they're not about to be found by anyone. They're not even close to you can't even see the mountains anymore. So they're that far away. I love this description too. The black outline of a small church was visible beyond a large yew tree. Bum, bum, bum. So that's significant because yew trees are often planted in graveyards, but they are the tree of death, and it's also what Voldemort's wand is made out of.
Yes, so super symbolic there. Also, and I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but I do believe that somewhere in maybe Scotland, there is like a very famous church where two yew trees have actually like grown up and like formed the entrance to the church. They're like ingrained into this like ancient building. And I feel like we've used that before. So it's almost like,
is it not that church? Is that also not where the chair that Dumbledore sits in came from?
Where it was sourced inspiration from? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. There is some type of, oh gosh, I think there was like a stone. Was there like a stone that was inside of the chair or something? Like they like stored something in the chair?
Oh, you might be right.
Oh gosh, I wish we had the information now. I feel silly for bringing it up and not being able to fully vet that. But
go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, yew trees, death. Very intentional.
Right. There actually is a graveyard that this graveyard is inspired by as well. When the book was being written, J.K. Rowling was walking around a graveyard looking for names on headstones, and that's where she found Tom Riddle.
There you go.
So if you go up to Edinburgh, you can like actually go walk through the graveyard that inspired the name.
That's
as
right.
well.
Yep, absolutely. And then it also says that Harry could just make out the outline of a fine old house on the hillside. I think that we've just basically always assumed that this is what qualifies us as specifically being in the town of Hangleton.
Like this is the Riddle house.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, also this is they're buried right here as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Cedric looked down at the Triwizard Cup and then up at Harry. Did anyone tell you the cup was a portkey? And this is the moment where like the note that I wrote in was like, if only this was just another part of the task. Like, like it would have been cool. It would have been interesting, but unfortunately, no, that's not what's happening here, Cedric.
Yeah. But our theory is that it was always a portkey, and that I was just going to bring you back to the front of the maze, which might have been like a fun little surprise for everyone. Like, wait a second, like you grab it and you're like, whoa, we won, yay!
Right, and it does feel like in that way it helps contribute to this concept that like Moody would have even been authorized if he was the one to handle the cup, if he was the one to take it to the middle of the maze, that he would have been like so authorized to use the Portus spell.
Like it's not even an unauthorized portkey.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah. So like nobody would be like, wait a second. Like I think a portkey was just created within the grounds of Hogwarts. It's like, yeah, of course. That's how they get back to the front. Otherwise they win. And where's the celebration? Where's the pomp and circumstance? Like
exactly.
And then the other big thought there, of course, I'm sure we'll talk about it more when we get there, is that the other unusual characteristic about this portkey in particular is that when Harry will summon it, when he grabs Cedric's body on his way back, the portkey works again, simply on contact.
Right.
And that's like another really unusual piece of the portkey situation, because for one, we learn at the beginning of the book that that's not really how portkeys work. They like leave at a specific time.
Right. Like at the beginning when they were going to the Quidditch World Cup, they all had to be there and just be holding on to the boot, unsure when it was going to go, but it was set to go at a certain time. This one is set to go when it is touched to a certain destination and then set to return upon being touched again.
Yes. So our thinking for a long time was that obviously if there's a reason for it to return to Hogwarts, if there's a reason for it to work again for Harry to get Cedric's body back, then that's obviously like not what Voldemort's plan included. Like he didn't intend for Harry to leave the graveyard on that particular night.
Right. But they did enchant it to bring someone back.
Yes. So then the big question is who? And the big thinking there would be that you could potentially, if they wanted Harry to win, then the belief is that only Harry would touch the cup. And then if it is supposed to go back and they expected Harry to win, then at least it should look like Harry has returned to where the victor should be.
Right. Because we learn in the next book that from Lupin and Sirius that Voldemort's return didn't go the way he wanted to. He wanted to return in complete secrecy. So, like, if that's true, if he wanted to return in complete secrecy, then obviously Harry never returning from the maze would not qualify for that plan to be the plan.
Because then you have a missing person.
Because then you have a missing person, and not just anybody, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, exactly. So the big basically like consideration that we've put together is that Harry, somebody disguised as Harry, which has basically been their MO for the entire year. It's what they've been doing with Mad-Eye Moody through Barty Crouch Jr. Someone disguised as Harry was going to be able to return to the castle and then potentially make a play against Albus Dumbledore. And then if Voldemort's plan goes exactly perfectly, then not only has he overcome the prophecy in one fell swoop because he will have defeated Harry Potter, he will also destroy the only man he ever feared, which is Dumbledore.
Right.
And then the pathway to conquering all wizard kind is seemingly unimpeded.
Yes. Not that was ever going to work. He was never actually going to be able to kill Harry here at all, I don't think. Right.
Because of the love crux.
Because of the love crux. Yeah.
Yes.
Harry, because once he takes Harry's blood into his body, like we are, Harry fights back and, casts Expelliarmus and forms the golden beads or whatever. But like, had he not done that, had Voldemort just hit him, the love crux would already be activated.
True.
And Harry just sort of would have come back. He would have been in that limbo state right away. It just so happens that even though it's very close to happening right here, it won't happen for another 3 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Okay. So anyway, that gets us through at least them arriving via Portkey.
Yes.
I do like this moment where Cedric is sort of like, one's out, do you reckon?
Yeah. Harry's like, yep, glad you said it, not me, because I don't want to seem scared. Yeah. It's like he says, Harry actually says, this is supposed to be part of the task. And I was like, well, Harry usually has like such good instincts. And it's like, he's more like not skeptical enough of this right away. Not that it, makes much difference, but.
No, I mean, and it doesn't make much difference. And I think the tasks have been so specific in that they have put his life in danger so much. And probably a little bit from Harry's perspective, just like, I mean, he was having that daydream. Like he was pretty close to thinking like, I could win this. Like Fleur's down, Crumb is out. Like, it's not really until that moment where Cedric comes out of the hedge maze in front of him and he's like, well, Cedric's got it. Like, there's no way I can beat him. I'm on I'm just too far back and he's taller and stronger and faster than me. Like there's nothing doing. But just a few minutes ago, Harry was like, oh my gosh, like this nightmare might be over. Like I might win.
It's going to be great.
So I could see a world where it's like, he's so wrapped up in the tournament and the maze and the third task that he's like, it's not fully settling the total ramifications of like the switcheroo here.
Right. Yeah. But then it says he had yet again that strange feeling that they were being watched. So now his instincts are catching in. This is a reference back into the maze where he said he felt like he was being watched, which he was being watched by Moody through the hedges. Now he's being watched again, but it's by Wormtail off to the side a little bit.
Yes. And I feel like the build up to the like arrival of Wormtail felt like it was taking a mortal age, given the fact that it only takes like one paragraph.
Yeah.
But like, it says Harry couldn't make out a face, but from the way it was walking and holding its arms, he could tell it was carrying something. Whoever it was, he was short and wearing a hooded cloak pulled up over his head to obscure his face. And several paces nearer, the gap between them closing all the time, Harry saw that the thing in the person's arms looked like a baby. Or was it merely a bundle of robes? And it's just like, it just keeps like keeping you just right there on the edge of
like, what is happening? What's going on? Who is that?
Right.
Where are we? Why isn't the task over?
Right. The first time readers, your head is swirling with questions right now. So
right.
Why are we here?
What is going on? And then as Harry lowered his wand slightly, and it's like, why would you lower it? And I guess it's because he thinks someone's carrying a baby for a second there.
Sure. Yes. And then without warning, Harry's scar exploded with pain. It was agony as such he had never felt felt in his life. His wand slipped through his fingers as he put his hands over his face. His knees buckled. He was on the ground. He could see nothing at all.
He could see nothing at all.
I have it underlined as well.
He could see nothing at all.
Yeah,
his head was about to split open.
Yeah. So this is kind of a big one because the condition for seeing Thestrals is witnessing death.
Yes.
And right now it's like there's a big question because Harry's going to go back to school. He's going to make it back to the train at the end of the year, and then he's not going to see the Thestrals for the first time until the beginning of year 5, even though there's no one else he would specifically see die between now and then. So like the qualifying measure is Cedric.
Right.
And so I think the way that this ends up ultimately playing out is Harry's eyes are actively closed in this moment. And it will even say, so you'll hear the cold voice say, kill the spare. You'll hear Avada Kedavra, and then you'll see a blast of green light blaze through Harry's eyelids, which means his eyes are still closed.
Still shut.
For the death moment.
You get several updates on the state of Harry's eyes, which is so funny because it is so critical to see Thestrals that you witness death. So because he could see nothing at all, the blast of green light blazed through Harry's eyes, and then finally he opened his stinging eyes. So like even if you're like trying to kid yourself, like maybe he opened them and then he shut them again or something, and it's like no, you get very clear descriptions. His eyes are closed tightly. The green light is that bright. Then he opens his eyes. But we can't skate over this, though. From far away above his head, he heard a high, cold voice say, kill the spare! Which, boy, this is just, I can't believe what a joke this has become on the channel.
It's so much less funny when it's happening. Like the actual death is upon us.
I literally wrote, less funny just at the moment.
Oh, man. But yeah, so the big thing here is that again, so Harry can't see the Thestrals, but then if we do zoom forward, so our copy of the book fortunately even gives you the first chapter of Order of the Phoenix, and what you're going to end up getting, and this is kind of interesting that this is like the way that it plays out, but Harry is going to be giving Dudley a hard time for bullying like underage kids.
Yeah.
And then Dudley is going to retort by basically saying, like, I heard you last night, said Dudley breathlessly. And he's basically asking him, who's Cedric? Don't kill Cedric. Don't kill Cedric. Who's Cedric? Your boyfriend? And Harry's like, you're lying. But he knew that Dudley wasn't lying because he, in his dreams, had been going back and revisiting the graveyard and witnessing the events of the night. So I don't know if this is a stretch. I don't know if it's me just trying to like want it to work.
Well, there's a chance that, I see what you mean. Like Harry's, because in other versions of Harry's dreams, he has been like when he rode the owl into the room or when he was like seeing Frank Bryce listen to the conversation. Right. He's not seeing through someone's eyes. He almost will be seeing it from like a third point of view.
Yes.
Like a floating person in the room. So it's possible, you're right, that in his dreams, he is like revisiting this moment as like from a different point of view, where he can actually watch it and like that actually counts. You could also argue maybe that when the wands connect and Priori Incantatem happens, and the echoes come out, that he is literally like witnessing death, because like the shapes of death kind of.
Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a really good point. The condition that I feel like I would be attempting to hurdle over in a way that's also maybe jumping through a hoop at the same time would be, why don't we see the Thestrals at the end of Goblet, but we do see them at the beginning of Order?
Yeah. You're right. Now, the given out of universe explanation is that it took Harry that long to process the death. And that is the key difference between the end of Goblet and the beginning of Order, which I feel like is a little less elegant.
It does feel a lot less elegant, especially because I think that what you said, I think, is a lot more elegant, because like Harry normally has these dreams when Voldemort is feeling a very particular sort of way. Mm-hmm. And Voldemort, up till this moment, doesn't know that this connection exists between Harry and himself. That won't happen until the situation with Arthur Weasley, where Harry is basically able to respond to something that nobody should have known about.
Right.
And so, like, to me, what I think could very easily be happening here is, like, Voldemort is lamenting how the evening unfolded.
Right.
Like he is replaying it in his head. And so like in a way, what Harry is witnessing is like Voldemort's memory of the evening.
Right.
Which also is kind of interesting because Harry is calling out in his sleep, basically asking for Voldemort to spare Cedric's life.
Well, what's interesting here is that if this is Voldemort reliving it, he is not really witnessing this happen either. He's just in that like bundle of robes at the moment, you know. He isn't quite back yet.
Yeah, but he's got like the weird omnipresence.
Yeah.
Because like that's what's happening at the end of chapter 1 in this book is you kind of have the moment where the chair is turned around. And that's like when you, the reader, as well as the people in the room, see what's sitting in the chair, which is Voldemort.
Right.
So it's not really from like his perspective. It's almost like he's like omniscient.
Yeah.
To the scene. And I don't know how that works. Like it's loosey-goosey at best, but if we want to fight for a way to understand it, like I think that would be me trying to pull the strands in a way that I think is as close as possible to making sense.
I mean, it feels like it could be tied into like some branch of like legitimacy where like, you know, Voldemort is extremely skilled at it and maybe doesn't need to be like making eye contact. He can sort of like tell just by, because like he's not looking at Frank Bryce and Frank Bryce is like lying to him and he's like, do not lie to me. Lord Voldemort can always tell.
Yes.
Usually like Snape is like eye contact is important in legitimacy, but this is like Voldemort as gross baby looking the other way.
Right. Like, I mean, that would speak to like his power being pretty insane.
Yeah.
Which we would know anyway.
Which is true.
He's the Dark Lord.
Yes.
So anyway, so I felt like we needed to spend that amount of time on that question.
I agree. I think so. Because it's something, the Thestral thing is like one of those just glaring. The real answer is that someone forgot.
Thestrals hadn't been invented yet.
Hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah. At least not in the fullest of capacities. But that's okay. So we will continue to press forward. So Harry opens his eyes and he sees Cedric was lying spread-eagled on the ground beside him. He was dead.
Yeah.
Less
funny while we're reading, while we're here in the moment.
Yes.
Give us a page or two. Don't worry.
I know. Yeah. We'll come back. We'll come back.
Yeah.
I did have a lot. I just wrote in like, we're not in Kansas anymore. Like this is like the like we've reached PG-13.
Yeah.
I think is kind of what's going on at this point in the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just sort of like bumps and bruises, waking up in the hospital wing, you know,
right.
That type of thing. Someone died.
Yes. Yes. Well, this is the second person too. Like Barty Crouch Jr. died and Bertha Jorkins died. But now a character we know that Harry was there with.
Yeah, well, right. And those I would say
Barty
like
Crouch Sr.
Barty Crouch Sr. I was gonna say, yeah. But those are more off page because we haven't really actually fully confirmed Senior's death yet, right?
You're right.
Because he's just been in the woods, so we don't absolutely know that. And then Bertha Jorkins, same thing. It's like it's described as though she's died.
Yeah.
And I mean, like we would have that with like Moaning Myrtle. Like we know that there was a victim of the Chamber of Secrets like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the difference here is like you have a proper
murder on page.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. With a character who we actually have come to know and who is highly respectable.
Yeah.
And innocent.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah. So let's see here. For a second that contained an eternity, Harry stared into Cedric's face, his open gray eyes blank and expressionless as the windows of a deserted house. At his half open mouth, which looked slightly surprised.
I bet. Like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It reminds me so much of like the description we get of Fred's eventual death as well, where it's sort of like the expression that you are wearing at death is the last thing that's on your face, like when you die. Like it almost like remains fixed.
It does, yeah.
I think it happens with
I think it happens with the Riddle family too. They're described as looking terrified.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they must have had more of an inkling of what was about to happen.
Right. So then we continue to just get the short man in the cloak, had to put down his bundle, lit the wand, and was dragging Harry towards the marble headstone.
So Harry's clearly like in a state of shock at the moment.
Very understandably.
Yeah, very understandably.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we still don't know who the short man is yet.
No.
Yeah. So then he is slammed against the marble headstone, which reads Tom Riddle.
Right. And if you weren't concerned yet, now it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. It's like, yep, this is not good. This is not good.
Not good.
Yep.
We know who that is. That's bad.
Right. Harry could hear shallow, fast breathing from the depths of the hood. He struggled and the man hit him with a hand that had a finger missing. And Harry realized who was under the hood.
Wow. Notice the missing finger while being hit. It's impressive.
It is. It's like, wait, attention to detail.
Attention to detail, Harry.
That's right.
Yeah, it was Wormtail. You! He gasped. But Wormtail had finished conjuring the ropes, did not reply. He was busy checking the tightness of the cords, his fingers trembling uncontrollably, fumbling over the knots. So you can tell Wormtail is like, he is so nervous about everything going down right now.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, this fits so specifically with Wormtail's whole existence. Like he is not like a proper soldier or lieutenant, or he's not in league with Barty Crouch Jr. or Bellatrix Lestrange. Like he is a coward.
Yeah.
And he is basically just abiding by the orders of Voldemort because he's been pressed into, from a rock in a hard place until he's backed into a corner, and all he has left to do is try not to die.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what he's doing here. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's defensible at all. I just hate Wormtail.
No, I know. Yeah. So then he gags Harry here, and then starts to go to work on Voldemort here. We learn that Harry's wand still on the ground at Cedric's feet, so he is wandless. He is not near Cedric, but we get an idea where the Triwizard Cup is, which is still near Cedric's body. And then Wormtail starts undoing the robes, and Harry watched it, suddenly super aware that he does not want to know what is in the robes. Like he almost like can't admit to himself like what's in there, like that it's Voldemort.
Yes, I know. And it's kind of interesting too, because this is the first of two times where Harry will really like lay eyes on this creature.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the next time that it'll happen is in King's Cross Station, and the circumstances will be so different.
It is different. Basically, what happens then is like the reverse of what's happening here. So what happens here is very short man Wormtail walks in carrying Voldemort like a baby. It is like gross baby Voldemort, who you kind of see another version of that. You're right, in King's Cross.
Yep.
And that is kind of like in King's Cross, that's actual Voldemort. That, and Harry is a whole Harry because it's supposed to represent like what's left of their souls, basically. So Harry is like big and pure and full and nice, and Voldemort can't even move. He's so like torn and that weird barbecue gross baby thing, which is kind of what he is right here. He like barely has a body. But so it's like, I think it's very intentional that these scenes are similar, because you have like short guy Wormtail carrying Voldemort in just before his resurrection, and on the reverse end you have after Harry's resurrection, Hagrid the Giant carrying Harry like a baby away from it.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's very, I mean, and it's always been kind of interesting to me the way that Hagrid is folded into that scene in Deathly Hallows, where like, it's like where of all the people, they've got like Hagrid tied to a tree.
Right.
In that particular, moment. And yeah, then he does end up carrying Harry, which feels like its own like bizarre. It's also symbolic, of course, going back to the beginning of the story, where it's like Hagrid is the one who delivers in his arms baby Harry to the Dursleys, and now he's carrying baby Harry back to his other home, the castle.
Right.
But you're right. Yeah, it's weird the way that those things are so ridiculously switched out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Harry will be in much more control the next time that this happens to him.
Absolutely. So let's see. Then Harry hears noises at his feet. He looks down and saw a gigantic snake slithering through the grass, circling the headstone where he's tied. Just like things are just going from bad to worse. Like he got there and is like, I won. And then wait, oh my God, Cedric died. Now I'm tied to a rock. Oh my God, what's in those bundle of robes? Holy cow, that's a big snake or cow, depending on your point of view. Moo. Yeah. Like, what is going on? Things have gotten really bad in the last 20 seconds. Yeah. So then we pull out the giant cauldron, which I guess Wormtail was like hiding for a good reveal here. Didn't set it up ahead of time, you know.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, it says that he's pushing a stone cauldron to the foot of the grave. It was full of what seemed to be water.
Which is not water.
Harry could see it slopping around. And I'm like, the idea, I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever tried to move a full aquarium across a grassy surface before. It's impossible. It can't be done.
Can't be done. Also, like once again, wizards forgetting they can do magic.
I know. Yeah, just levitate it.
Just levitate it, dude. What are you doing?
Levicauldrous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's probably the spell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was larger than any cauldron Harry had ever used. A great stone belly, large enough for a full-grown man to sit in.
This is a stone. This is a stone cauldron.
Do you think that the belly of this stone cauldron would pass Percy's cauldron bottom reports?
I think it would, Ben.
Yeah.
I think it would with flying colors.
Yeah.
You know what else I think, though, is that Wormtail is way stronger than we're giving him credit for.
That's true.
Have you tried to pick up just like a basketball-sized rock before?
Well, yes, and like an Atlas stone.
Yeah, like smaller than that. Like just one you might find like out on like the, retaining wall or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're
heavy.
Very heavy.
Pretty heavy rock.
Yeah, so Wormtail secretly swole.
So apparently.
Guys, he's like, I'm a little on the shorter side, but I can bench 350.
Yeah, right. Natural sprinter. Yeah. Very dangerous on a short distance.
I love it. Okay, anyway, sorry. The thing inside the bundle of robes on the ground was stirring more persistently as though it was trying to free itself. Now Wormtail was busying himself at the bottom of the cauldron with a wand. Suddenly there were crackling flames beneath it. The large snake slithered away into the darkness. So good thing that Peter was a wizard scout.
Yeah, good thing. He remembers he can set fire with the wand, not that he can move the cauldron with the wand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no. Then I think this is going to be like a running thing. Is that Harry will refuse. I think he's like he knows in his soul that thing in the robes is Voldemort, but he will not let himself like grant Voldemort like the identity of like person. He will call it thing or it the entire time. Like he will not refer to Voldemort as like a man.
Right. Yep. Not granting him those pronouns.
Right. Even in this like wild, hopeless situation he's in.
Right.
It's like it's like so weird that like this is his continued defiance in this moment is not allowing his thoughts to give Voldemort the credit of personhood.
Yes. Which, to be fair, he doesn't really deserve.
He does not deserve. Yeah. No. Good for Harry.
There we go. Yep. The liquid in the cauldron seemed to heat very fast. The surface began to not only bubble, but send out fiery sparks as though it were on fire. Yeah. Steam was thickening, blurring the outline of Wormtail, tending the fire. The movements beneath the roads became more agitated, and Harry heard the high, cold voice again. Hurry.
Yeah, there's the high cold voice. So that's, I mean, more and more clues. Obviously we know who it is, but this is the line you were talking about. The whole surface of water was alight with sparks now. It might have been encrusted with diamonds.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
I have no idea.
Because I think for the longest time I thought this concoction right here was the combination of like Nagini's venom and the unicorn blood.
Right.
But I think that's the potion he creates to get him into the body he's in right now.
The rudimentary body.
The rudimentary body.
I totally agree, because we're also going to have like the explanation of what he currently looks like. So we're going to jump to the page just a little bit here, but basically Wormtail will flip over a stone, or it says, it was as though Wormtail flipped over a stone, revealed something ugly, slimy, and blind, but worse, 100 times worse.
Which I was like, it's not as though he did that. That's exactly what happened.
Right. Yes, I know. It had the shape of a crouched human child, although it was hairless and scaly looking, dark, raw, reddish black. Its arms and legs were thin and feeble, and its face. No child alive ever had a face like that. Flat and snake-like with gleaming red eyes. So basically, I think that's really the key thing there, is that you've got the transformation of Tom Riddle we saw was shifting from the boy that we knew in high school, where he was like very handsome, you know, and he had like the dark features and was very good looking. And it's like, even when you see him progress in the story, it's almost like he's become like waxy and like a little bit more like hollow, but still looks largely human.
Right.
So I think that it is the Nagini venom and this rudimentary body and the unicorn blood and everything that sort of like funnels into creating the basic small body that starts to morph his features into this snake-like appearance.
Yeah,
and that transfers to the full-grown man once he comes out of the cauldron.
Yeah, Mo, this is a scene I really hope they get just right when they do it in the HBO series, because like a lot of it's pretty good. His resurrection's pretty good.
It is. Yeah. But I mean, it's a scene that we've used we call it the Voldemort shampoo scene from Goblet of Fire, the movie. And it's probably a scene that we've used in videos more than just about any other, except for maybe Harry saying, "But I am the chosen one."
I am the chosen one, or him dripping water out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Or Cedric dying. That's becoming very frequent.
It is. That one comes up.
Comes up a lot. But when you see Voldemort in this scene in particular, though, I don't like the way he looks in the movie, where he just looks like a really frail old man, you know, he just looks like this weak guy that Wormtail dumps in there. It's like, I want him to look scary AF, you know?
Do you mean before he goes in?
Yeah, before he goes in. And then when he comes out. When he comes out, like, there's a really good scene, like right when he's coming to, he looks like extra skinny and snake-like and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, he looks his creepiest, like right in that moment. And then like from there, he just sort of like, he never looks that creepy again. But I think even then they could ratchet it up like another 10 ticks on the creepy scale.
Like make it real spooky.
I want him to be like scary looking.
I mean, and this is the power of like Darth Vader, right? Like it's like when Vader is on screen, you are intimidated.
Yeah.
And it's like it's because his presence is so like overpowering.
You got to get the red eyes.
Yeah,
got to get the red eyes.
I know. I think little details like that will be much more closely like tuned into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Anyway, so the thing seemed almost helpless. It raised its thin arms, put them around Wormtail's neck, and Wormtail lifted it. As he did so, his hood fell back, and Harry saw a look of revulsion on Wormtail's weak, pale face in the firelight. This is basically what Wormtail's been dealing with the entire time. There was even, I think back in chapter 1, where he's like, "I disgust you, don't I, Wormtail?" Like, what? No, my lord, you look amazing.
Totally beautiful.
Beautiful. My master. You're so handsome and scaly.
I hate this whole like row of words, because like the idea of raising thin arms, put them around like, you know, someone's neck, to make it Wormtails even just gives me like the shivers.
It's like he's giving him a little hug.
I know, but the problem is that I have a small, beautiful child who does this to me, and it's my favorite thing in the world, and I hate that I have to share it with this moment between Wormtail and
I don't think
Voldemort.
You have to share it.
Right now, in this moment, I have to.
Okay.
Normally, I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, anyway, just a really terrible thing to imagine witnessing.
Yep. So Wormtail lowers the creature into the cauldron, and Harry hears its frail body hit the bottom with a soft thud, and he is just immediately just like holding out as much hope as he can, just like let it drown. I don't know what that stuff is, but he probably can't breathe it.
Right.
I have some experience. I didn't see him eating a gillyweed, you know. How are you doing that? How are you doing that?
Right. Yes.
What book did you find?
Because I can assure you they are not in the Hogwarts library.
I can assure you.
Was that a bubblehead drum?
That a bubblehead drum? You got a bubblehead drum in there?
Part shark.
Yeah. You part shark in there, dude?
Right. But then, of course, we get the first ingredient, which is bone of the father, unknowingly given. You will renew your son. And this is kind of poetic, just given to the tune of Tom having his father's name. So the fact that he's kind of like being reborn in a sense from Tom Riddle, like as former Tom Riddle, now Voldemort.
Even this is a ton of hypocrisy, though. This is like he pure blood mania man Voldemort is being reborn by Muggle bones.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. That's right. Yeah. It's like that would be such a funny one if like Harry just continuously like ripped on him for that.
Yeah.
He's like, how them bones?
How them bones?
How them non-magic bones?
How's that pot wormtail hand? You pot rat?
Yes. Are you? Oh, he should be missing a finger.
Oh, that would be great.
You
that
know?
would be great if the hand that came out was like Wormtail's gross hand.
Yeah.
Oh, so he just has like patchy bits of hair all over him.
Oh, I hate it.
I hate it so much.
Not good at all.
Nothing like hair on a snake to gross you out.
Yeah, you're right. The diamond surface of the water broke and hissed. It sent sparks in all directions and turned a vivid, poisonous-looking blue. Blue. I know.
Trivia.
Literally, I wrote trivia.
Trivia.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, I was like blue. Why isn't it green? Why isn't it green? It should be green.
I know. I'm using a green highlighter for all this. Just so you know.
I was using green highlighter too. I was like, oh, for all the Voldemort things, I should do it in green.
Yep. Good call. Wormtail was now whimpering. He pulled out a long, thin, shining silver dagger from inside his cloak. His voice broke into petrified sobs.
Do you feel like maybe he could have done Harry first? You know?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Because he is certainly going to, it's going to be harder to do it one-handed.
Everything else is going to be harder.
Right. Yeah. In agonizing pain.
Right.
Flesh of the servant, willingly given, you will revive your master.
I mean, willingly is like in giant air quotes. I mean, this is like 0.01% willingly, I think.
Right.
Like it just barely qualifies.
Right. And this is really kind of like a funny throwback though, because when you go all the way back to chapter 1, do you have it
page 11?
Goodness gracious. Yeah. Page 11 of the story.
Yes. He says, Wormtail, I will allow you to perform an essential task for me, one that many of my followers would give their right hand to perform. And here it is.
And he stretched out his right hand, the hand with the missing finger. He gripped the dagger very tightly in his left hand and swung it upward.
How sharp is this dagger?
It almost is required for it to be a magically sharp dagger.
Magically sharp.
Because cutting through, I mean...
cutting through bone.
Cutting through bone.
Cutting through bone, man.
Although, I mean, I have to imagine that Wormtail has like weak bones.
Well, I imagine he does too, but he's not like chop. It's not like one. It's not, I can maybe see it if his hand was like on a really hard surface and he came down really hard or something.
Right.
But this is in the air.
Yeah.
He's
God,
it must be so sharp.
The folks at home who like to listen to this show as like they're like quiet, like evening, like, oh, we're just nice and cozy. We're getting ready for bed, like it's like, this is a terrible chapter to
This
sleep.
is not a good chapter for that in particular. When you get the idea of this super sharp dagger going through all of Wormtail's sinew and bone and just blood gushing out and getting all over his robes probably.
Right.
I like to think he pukes. It doesn't say it, but he probably does.
He probably does.
He does, you know. Probably some of it gets in the potion. Voldemort's just like, oh, gross.
It's like you see like a little spit come out.
Like he gets up and he's like, oh,
Wormtail, what did you eat?
What did you eat?
Oh man, we gotta make humor out of it because if we don't, it's just awful.
Yeah, it's just bad. Oh boy. So yeah, Harry, he said he closed his eyes tightly as he could, but he could not block the scream that pierced the night that went through Harry as though he had been stabbed with a dagger too. Do you think this is just is this empathy? Is he just like, oh, I feel bad for you, dude?
I don't know. I mean, it can't ever be a pleasant sensation to witness such a sight.
It cannot.
It's really not fun to hear the description of it, if I'm being completely H with you.
So yeah, he drops the hand in, and now the potion turns a burning red, which I guess makes sense because he's probably just dyeing it with all of his blood.
Right.
But so it's gone from diamond to blue to red.
Diamond to blue to red.
Diamond to blue to red.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So then finally we'll get blood of the enemy forcibly taken. You will resurrect your foe.
Boy, if only Harry had enough awareness that he was like, forcibly, here you go, have some.
Here you go.
Like, no, that's not how this works. I have to forcibly take it. No, I'm willingly giving it to you though. Like, oh man.
This would be a really funny skit to play out. We're like, forcibly taken. Nope, you can have it. What?
You can have it. Go ahead, take it.
You can have my blood.
No,
it needs to be, you are tied to a marble stone headstone.
Yep.
I will take it from you. Yes, go right ahead.
You may have it. You're welcome. But, my lord, Go ahead and bleed out. It's fine by me. I got plenty of blood over here if you need it.
I got plenty of blood.
Plenty of blood. Seems like you're losing some. You might want to act fast. I would decide. Quick.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the extreme irony here is that this is the moment that Voldemort makes his fatal error, because this is when the Love Crux is being created, and Lily's sacrifice that courses through Harry's own veins is being deposited into Voldemort's body, and basically that is what is going to tether Harry to life. This is why he doesn't die in the forest again.
Yes. Because of this right here. And just that sentence, though, blood of the enemy forcibly taken, you will resurrect your foe. That sentence is like the plot of the whole book, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It really is. And this is the thing. And I know that we've gotten so many comments about it throughout the course of the years, but it doesn't have to be Harry. It doesn't.
Right. It doesn't. He will explain it in the next chapter.
Yes, exactly. It's like it could be anybody who actively opposes Voldemort,
yeah.
which I think shy of Death Eaters, everyone,
pretty much everybody.
Yeah. So that's really like the thing where it's just like, man, he's got such vanity. It had to be Harry, and that's really what's going to do it.
Yep.
Let's see here.
So then this is different than the movie do. He gets a glass vial out and then collects it from Harry's cut. I'm surprised he doesn't just rip Harry wide open here either, because he just sliced his own hand off, but he's like, just a little prick. Don't worry, Harry.
Yes, that's right. It's like a little alcohol swab here,
right.
just to, clean the spot.
No, you're getting an infection.
Plus, I'm pretty sure there was an acromantula in the last task. I want to make sure we're not getting into that.
Yeah, right.
We're big snake people around here.
We don't want spiders. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. So yeah, he gets in the movie though. He just takes the knife and just gets the blood off the knife and does like a little blood drips into the potion, which I think is we use that scene a lot too.
That's another one. Yep.
And now it turns back to white. So we've gone diamond, blue, red, white.
Okay. Diamond, blue, red, white.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Wormtail dropped to his knees now beside the cauldron, slumped sideways, laying on the ground, cradling his bleeding stump of his arm. And Harry is just like, God, please, that something went wrong. Let it have drowned. Let it have gone wrong. And he's like, because he definitely knows what's up now. He's like, just I don't. Oh God, it seems like they're doing it right. And then there's this big blinding white light, and then everything stops. There's just vapor in the air. And for 1 second, Harry's like, oh, it didn't work. Good. It didn't work. Cool. Awesome. But he's wrong.
He's wrong. Yeah. With an icy surge of terror, the dark outline of a man, tall and skeletally thin, rising from inside the cauldron. And then you get what has to be the most unusual first two words upon rebirth of any character just in the history of ever. Robe me.
Yeah. So what it doesn't mention is that he's naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wormtail and Voldemort have quite the relationship.
They have got quite the relationship.
They sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. They share each other's blood,
Right.
Or at least Voldemort's got some of his blood in him,
Right. Yep.
Too bad no one died for you, Peter, I guess. Or something.
Yeah. Anyway, yep. So, and Wormtail, sobbing and moaning, still cradling his mutilated arm, scrambled to pick up the black robe from the ground, got to his feet, reached up and pulled one-handed over his master's head.
One-handed. I mean, there's no way he didn't get blood on this robe,
There is literally no way.
There is no way.
And it feels like he's going to get punished for that.
I can't. Also, I cannot imagine a world where with one hand he successfully puts robes on another a grown adult person without some like fiddling around and stuff.
Oh, can you? I can even imagine a scene where Voldemort is going to put his arms through and he puts it through the head hole.
Yeah,
and Wormtail's like, oh no, wrong hole, back it up.
Right.
Yep, this one. Nope, that's the same hole again. There you go.
I haven't had arms for so long.
The tag's facing the wrong way. That's fine.
Could you flip it around? Flip it around. It's, you know what?
It's a tearaway tag. Just rip it off.
Just rip it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that knife?
Where's that knife? It was so sharp before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. The thin man stepped out of the cauldron, staring at Harry, and Harry stared back into the face that haunted his nightmares for 3 years, whiter than a skull with wide, livid scarlet eyes and a nose that was flat as a snake's with slits for nostrils. Lord Voldemort had risen again.
Chills.
He's
back.
He's back, and
be back.
It's really, really wild because it's like we are almost at exactly the 1/2 mark through the series.
Yeah.
Like if you're to stack all of the pages we read in Goblet of Fire alongside those with books 1 through 3 against books 5, 6, 7. Like, I would be very curious to see how that like page allocation like pans out, because I think it would still skew with like more story ahead than we've covered so far. Which is wild to think about considering how far into this project we are.
We're pretty far in, because so much of Goblet would be on the front half of that.
Exactly. Yeah. But then books 1 and 2 are so short.
That's true.
By comparison. So, but it's pretty wild, because I do think that like you've basically got, in a 7-part series, you've got books 1 through 3, 4 where he returns, and then 5, 6, 7. So you've got 3 on either side of this like middle marker, and really that's where he returns proper, and it's just pretty much going to be the threat the whole way through till the end. But that does bring us to the end of chapter 32, Flesh, Blood, and Bone. Jay, do you have a review for us?
I sure do, Ben. Let me pull it up here for us. This is going to be from Maddie N.
Oh, hi, Maddie.
He's going to say, love this podcast. Hey, brother, I usually watch on YouTube, and it's without fail the highlight of my week. Question about chapter 31. Do you think Barty Crouch Jr. would have intervened if Cedric hadn't helped Harry with the acromantula? Obviously, he wouldn't want Cedric getting the cup, but would he risk taking him out while Harry was right there?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I think this kind of goes back to, and it fits really well with our huge argument about like the Imperious Curse. And the fact that Cedric can't be controlled by it in the same way that others can, because he has such enormous strength of character.
Right.
Like because it is surprising to me that more effort doesn't go into, and I mean, it's even possible that the acromantula attacking Cedric is Moody's doing.
Yeah. That could also be just under the Imperious Curse.
Right. Because
if you like, that is literally the example he gives in class is on spiders. We know it works on spiders.
That's true. That's true. And really what you pretty much have happening there is like, he's made it to the final pipeline. Cedric is sprinting to the finish when the acromantula comes out of nowhere to attack him. And if you go back and you read the chapter carefully, what you'll see is that like Harry will cast a spell and it will then redirect the spider at Harry.
Right.
And so it's almost as if like the spider is doing exactly what Moody wants it to do, which is to trip Cedric up right at the finish line, and then it fails and ends up being attacking Harry instead. And then you've got the nobility of spirit of these two people who, and that's really what it comes down to, is that Harry and Cedric are in a league of their own when it comes to just sheer goodness.
Right. Because like what could have happened is Harry distracts the spider, it goes after him, and Cedric's like, go to the cup.
Right. Yes. Yeah. True. Exactly true. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And this is the thing. Like, I mean, it's the theme of the story. It's like, love conquers all. And I think somewhere inside of that, even though Cedric and Harry don't have like romantic love for one another, I think that they have like the kind of goodness that allows them to love. Yeah. It's the thing that like that Dumbledore will bring up to Harry that's like, you can love. And Harry's like, big deal.
Big deal. He's like, it has been a pretty big deal so far, dude.
It's been a pretty big deal. It's like, even if you look at Cedric and it's like, he was capable of loving it. That is why he didn't just let you get eaten by an acromantula and go grab the cup and run away with it. Like, cause that's not who he is.
Right.
And they both have that in common. But I mean, I've never really considered that the acromantula attack is driven by Moody before, but per this question, I would almost be like, it definitely is.
Right. It almost seems like it is like, or like, I don't know. Otherwise, was the spider always going to be like the final obstacle? Like, it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to put that right at the end. No matter what, if you come towards it, you will have to get through the spider.
Well, I mean, it's a fair question, because I guess do we know? Let's see here. Does Crumb attack Fleur? I'm trying to remember exactly how that.
We don't know.
You just hear her kind of like screaming.
You hear her scream, yeah. And then when Harry and Cedric are like, do you think Crumb got Fleur or whatever?
Right.
Yeah, I guess maybe Barty Crouch Jr. says what he does later on in the book, but I don't know where that is.
Okay.
Just yet.
Yeah, so that'd be something to look at as well. It's like whether or not he's just got Crumb out there as his agent in particular, or even if like, if he was redirecting Fleur in such a way that was forcing her to just run into obstacle after obstacle, because clearly a whole bunch of things that Harry isn't running into must be going somewhere in the maze.
Right, yeah.
Like, so it's possible that Fleur is just like another one. Like,
man, this is a hard task. Yeah.
It's like so much stuff. I can't do it.
That would be a fun thing to see in the maze, like in the show, because you have no idea what other things, like, Cedric deals with one of the Scroots and then they run into Crumb, but you never see like other things Cedric ran into or other things Crumb ran into or what Fleur might have run into before she gets taken out.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great piece of world building just to see, because like we never have seen like the Golden Mist, for example, that Harry interacts with prior to the maze, and we'll never see it again.
Yeah.
So just sort of have like some ingenuity there just to sort of see like what is everybody up against.
I know it'd be a great. I mean, I can see like a great transition. It'd be a great transition too. Like you see Harry go in, he's he gets through his first problem, the boggart or whatever.
Yep.
And then you cut over to like Fleur in the maze and she's doing battle with some crazy looking creature, and you're like because then you could see Fleur do something cool and like prove her worth, because otherwise like you don't get to really watch her versus the dragon. She fails to the Grindylows in the lake task, and then it's like you don't know what happens in the maze either. So it's like you don't get to see her look like the part of the champion for like much of it at all.
It's very surprising. It is, and I think especially because like she's supposed to be formidable. Like I is it in the movies or is it in the book? And I wish I could remember just off the cuff, but I feel like there's a line where like maybe even like Moody is describing all of the other opponents, and he's like, she's as much of a, like, I forget what he compares her to, like a pixie as I am or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like she's tough.
Right.
And so I think something that would be really cool to get to see more of is like a wit from Fleur, like, as they're like having all these exchanges that like she's like outwitting everybody in everything.
Yeah.
I think that could be like a really fun way to like help beef up her character if we're not going to get to see things like how the other champions face their dragons or what's happening underneath the lake with the other champions.
Right.
Because like you want to see all these people being good at stuff, and because you don't get that in the films, like especially it's like you never really take them that seriously. Like we don't really know like the people that play Crumb and Fleur just off the cuff.
Right.
They're just sort of like they're like glorified extras, it almost seems like.
Yeah, you don't see them do a whole lot of stuff. They don't have like a ton of speaking lines or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that could be something that'd be cool to get a bit more of.
Yeah, because you could see her take something down like in a really cool way, and then she turns around and she screams, and then you cut back to Harry, and he's like back at the Golden Mist, like
yeah,
time to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And don't make it so dark we can't see anything.
Oh, please let us see stuff.
Yeah,
we want to see stuff.
We want to see stuff.
See stuff
because it's cool.
It's cool. It's cool stuff. It's magic. Yeah. We'll see magic.
I love magic.
All
right.
Exactly.
That should do it for us today.
I think, that is going to do it for us today. But thank you so much, as always, for listening. And make sure you join us next week for another big one. Chapter 33, The Death Eaters, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.